I am a flat earther.
Hi, in this video I'm going to share with you some tips so you can get the best out of Google Translate without all those bloopers we've all heard or seen. Now, before we dive into the matter, please remember that if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe before you leave, because I'm always uploading new stuff you might like. Here we go. This video is about getting the best of Google Translate, not showing its mistakes. I won't bore you with all those examples, except for one, just to establish the fact that it makes big mistakes.
Okay, let's translate the following sentence. I am a flat earther. Flat earther is slang. It's a new word referring to someone who believes the earth is flat. If we translate it into Spanish, it gives us soy un terrateniente. And this in English really means I am a landowner. Nothing to do with flat earthers. Now, let's translate it into French. Je suis une oreille plate. In English, that really means I am a flat ear. Nothing to do with flat earthers. Let's translate it into German. Ich bin ein flacher Erdbewohner. And that in English means I am a flat inhabitant of the earth. Nothing to do with flat earthers. Let's try again now with Italian. Sono un terrestre piatto. In English, I'm a flat earthling. Well, as you can see, slang and special terminology can cause big problems with Google Translate.
Yes, there are great risks when using Google Translate or any machine translator.
However, Google Translate can be proud. It can translate about 100 languages in just under a few seconds, something us professional translators can't do. On the other hand, it's free and easily available. So it comes in very handy when we want to get some sort of sense out of those squiggles we see on our screen. But of course, it's not a flat earther.
Oh yes, Google Translate can be a very useful tool, but only if we apply some practices that I'll show you here. Google Translate is not a translator. It does not translate as humans do. Instead, it's a placer. It places words where it has been taught to place them. It does not think, understand, imagine, or feel, and gets easily confused. Some humans also suffer these problems, but that is another topic. So, we have two basic principles governing the best results with Google Translate. One, you can only evaluate Google Translate has done a good job if the output you get is in your own language. And two, you should only feed into Google Translate what it is capable of understanding. Let's unroll these principles into action. 1. Only use Google Translate to get the gist out of a language you don't master. That is, from an unknown language into your language. Of course, this means you should never use it to create a message from your language into that language, unless you have a very good human translator to help you. If you have to communicate with someone who speaks a language you don't master, the recommended procedure is the following. A. You write your letter in your language, and the receiver uses Google Translate to get the gist of it. If he finds anything wrong or strange, he can ask for further details. Then the receiver answers in his own language, and you use Google Translate to get the gist of it. Don't refrain from verifying an important part of a message using different words or constructs to make sure details are right. Second principle. If Google Translate does not understand your writing, it'll get confused. So when you write your letter, make sure it considers the following. Very simple phrases. I like to walk in the park. Avoid complex constructs. I just miss you in a quite simple, desperate human way. In Spanish, that doesn't sound right. Verify your punctuation and grammar is correct. The results can be humiliating. No slang, jargon, no fancy words. If possible, avoid words with many meanings like the flat earther I mentioned before. Avoid idioms, proverbs or sayings, colloquialisms. Avoid double negatives. You might lose a friend or a lover. Avoid contractions, abbreviations, and acronyms, unless they are very well known. Avoid specialized terminology if possible. If gender is critical, make sure it is clearly staged. Google Translate has great issues with gender topics. However, despite all these issues, Google Translate can deliver some quite good translations, and it's getting better year after year, or better said, decade after decade. 11 years ago, I tested Google Translate against two texts, a job application letter and an MSDS. We can consider the letter as simple, standard English, and the MSDS as a technical text, although MSDSs are quite standard in structure and wording. In 2010, Google Translate produced the letter with errors in 84% of the sentences, and the MSDS had errors in 49% of the sentences. Today, Google Translate produced the same letter with much fewer errors, but with the MSDS it still can't cope despite its standard structure. So, if you go standard, you might get some very good results with Google Translate. However, if you have critical information to communicate, always hire a professional translator, but not one from the American Translators Association, because there is evidence that translators from that association can be less competent than Google Translate. Get that information in that video. Well, that's what I wanted to share with you now. I hope it helps you get the best out of Google Translate. I also hope you liked this video, and if you did, please remember, give it a thumbs up, share it, subscribe, click on the bell, and thanks for watching. Bye bye.